All right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Main Event Wrestling Podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network, and I am your host, Michael Jernigan. And I am joined by my tag team partner, the one and the only, the icon.
Yes.
Jam Patterson.
That's
What's happening?
Man, it's great to be back. I tell you what, we are living in the greatest week of professional wrestling, and I'm glad that I get to talk to my tag team partner, the Marty Jannetty of the team, Michael Jernigan.
First of all, I said last week this may be the greatest time to be a wrestling fan.
Absolutely.
You besmirched me.
Well, I wasn't thinking all the dates, right?
By God.
I take that back. But, man, this week has been so good.
And by the way, I'm not Marty Jannetty.
Oh, you are the Marty Jannetty.
I'm Shawn Michaels. I'm the Bret Hart. I'm the big boss man.
Oh, he's coming up later.
Big boss man, Akeem.
He's coming up later.
Akeem, the African Dream.
That's
all right.
right.
Y'all listen, we got a full packed show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. However, usually we start our show with a Monday Night Raw review. Not today. Today, we are starting with the brand new Wednesday Night Wars and Wednesday night, I almost forgot what it was. AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite.
Yeah.
Live on TNT. Jammer, before we go through some of the matches, what'd you think about the show? What'd you think about the way it looked? Just what was your overall feeling about the very first Wednesday Night Dynamite AEW show on TNT? Which, by the way, the last time there was wrestling on TNT was March of 2001.
Yeah.
Think about what has happened between March of 01 till, what is this, October of 2019.
Crazy.
Right? I was a 20-year-old Michael.
Yeah.
Now I'm 37-year-old
Yeah.
Michael. The Twin Towers, 9/11 had not happened yet, which that changed the world. That had not happened yet. George W. Bush was president.
Right.
There was no Obama. There was no Donald Trump. A lot has happened since the
Crazy.
last time we had wrestling on TNT.
Well, I tell you, man, I got home about 7:30. I got to grilling my steak. I got my potatoes. I got my salad.
You didn't go to the Sizzler.
Man, I didn't go to Sizzler last night. It was closed.
Okay.
I think Jericho was in town.
Okay.
But I was so pumped. And if you watched TNT up till then, every now and then they had segments going on, promoting. 8 o'clock is kickoff.
Tuesday night, they had a preview special.
Right.
Which, by the way, I saw they had over 600,000 viewers for their preview special.
Yeah. Well, the segments was a little dicey. Like, they didn't know when to start their promos. And so I was like, man, I was really worried about the AEW kickoff. And then it got started. And, man, I tweeted, I think I wore my remote control out last night, trying to get from AEW to NXT, back to AEW. Me and you were texting. I'm watching this, and I'm flipping, and I'm trying to eat. And, I mean, I felt like a 18-year-old kid who first learned how to use AIM Messenger, and I had about 8 girls on the line, and I was getting confused on what I was doing, but that's how excited I was about last night.
Yeah, we were texting during the show. I think I told you it probably – 10 minutes after 8, I've already flipped 6 times.
Yeah.
Literally, I can remember the very first Nitro, right, in 95.
Right.
When I was, I think I was in the 8th grade, just got done with soccer practice.
Yep.
I remember rushing home. I wanted to see Nitro. And I remember sitting in my bedroom, Mom and Dad's house, flipping back and forth that night.
Oh, yeah.
And it felt the exact same.
I mean, you were
yesterday.
everywhere. And, and you see people tweeting, the Wednesday Night Wars and this, but the big winner, me.
Me and you.
Me, baby. I loved every bit of it. And if I could have found a third wrestling promotion on, I'd have probably flipped there too. That's how much I loved last night.
Last night was good. I don't think you can't argue. There's going to be people, we talked about it, we tweeted about it, there's going to be people wanting to know who won the war, NXT or AEW. I'm going to be honest. Whenever the numbers come out, I want to see the numbers. They come out later today. I want to see how many viewers each had. But let's be for real. The winner was wrestling fans.
Absolutely.
The winners were all of us. We loved last night. I can't wait till next Wednesday now.
Oh, man.
It's going to be good. So,
I mean, I about came out of my mask last night. I mean, I'm trying to eat that steak with my wrestling mask on.
How'd that go for you?
It didn't go well. I got a little A1, so I got to get a new one out this week. But, man, it was amazing last night.
Speaking of a mask, your commentary team for AEW Dynamite, for Wednesday Night Dynamite, was Jim Ross, the legendary Jim Ross.
Yes.
Excalibur, which wears a mask.
Yes.
And I think I tweeted you or texted you, said that he stole your gimmick.
Absolutely, he did.
And then one of my favorite wrestling podcasts to listen to, other than the Main Event Wrestling Podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network, was that of Tony Schiavone. I loved hearing Tony Schiavone on TV last night. I loved seeing Tony Schiavone on my TV last night. I was immediately taken back to the NWO,
Yes.
to Tony Schiavone, Bobby Heenan, Dusty Rhodes, old school Nitros. I loved Tony Schiavone.
I'm not going to lie. I had a tear in my eye when Tony Schiavone popped up on my screen.
Yes.
That's how much
I
that guy
loved
is
it.
phenomenal.
I've met Tony Schiavone a couple of times in Charlotte at the NWA Fan Fest. Super nice guy. You know, he's a big Georgia Bulldog man.
Yeah.
I had a Tar Heel shirt on one day when I met him, and he said there's a kid that pitches for the AAA Atlanta Braves farm team, the Gwinnett Braves, who went to Carolina.
Okay.
And he's a big Georgia fan, so he said he always gives him a lot of crap
Right.
for being a Tar Heel. I said, Tony, you better watch your mouth. We're
You
not going to
threatened
be
Tony.
We're not going to be friends no more, Tony, if you keep this up.
Uh-oh.
But so I've met Tony Schiavone, nice guy. I thought him and Jim Ross and Excalibur did a good job last night.
Great, man.
I thought before we get to the matches, just overall, I thought the show looked good.
Yeah, clean.
It was lit. You could see everything. One of the things, if you look at the NXT product and you look at the NXT TV show and look at the AEW TV show, I think the AEW TV show looked better.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're comparing the two. Obviously, it's a bigger crowd.
Right.
You're only getting like 500 people over in Full Sail at NXT. You had over 14,000 last night
Right.
in Washington, D.C.
Excited
for
crowd, too,
the
man.
Wednesday Night Dynamite. The show looked good. I love the set. I love the design. It was lit well. You could see everything. It looked like a big-time
Yeah.
wrestling show. So I hope that's only a preview of what's to come. The very first match of AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite was Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. I had thought previously that this would be a good chance to give Sammy Guevara a win. And here's why. Cody has already been announced as Jericho's opponent for the first pay-per-view,
Yep.
or the next pay-per-view, excuse me, for the championship match. So Cody's got nothing to lose, right?
He's established.
He's in. You got Sammy Guevara, a young wrestler. He was on Lucha Underground a little bit. I saw him on there. He could come in, make a big splash, beat Cody, and then Cody could go on and do whatever he's going to do with
do his
Jericho.
thing.
However, last week when they announced that if Cody lost this match, he would be out of the championship match, I knew then, like, Cody's winning.
That just took all the drama out of the match.
I knew then Cody's winning. When Cody come out last night, he come out like a freaking hero. The crowd was with him. They were loud. Brandy was with him.
Brandy was looking good.
I texted you and our buddy Brian about Brandy last night.
You said, I don't think she's wearing much clothes, to which I replied, what's the problem?
Yeah. So
What's the problem?
Cody come out to a hero's welcome. Big pop when Cody come out. Him and Guevara had a good match. Of course, Cody got the win over Guevara with a small package, or an inside cradle, as Jim Ross says. I've heard Jim Ross say he never wants to be in the same sentence as a small package.
Okay.
I understand.
I like it.
I understand,
I like
Jim.
it.
I understand. That's going to be your new nickname. Small Package Patterson.
Yeah, I hear you.
Small Package Patterson.
Yes, sir.
After the match, Tony Schiavone was in the ring, and we saw it. We saw what happened. Cody looked at him, teared up.
Oh, man.
Gave him a hug.
And that was real. That's what you liked about it. You know, none of that was scripted. That was a once-in-a-lifetime moment where they both made it back to the main stage.
Yep.
And the emotions are pouring out, man.
Yep.
And that's what you love about the product sometimes, is when you have those real moments that hit you like that.
If you listen to Tony Schiavone's podcast, he loves the whole Rhodes family. He loved Dusty. He loves Dusty's wife, Michelle, all their kids, Cody, Dustin. He is a big Rhodes man. And so for him and Cody to share that moment in the ring that I got to be a part of.
That's right.
Because I was watching. I felt like I was a part of it. Because I would have been just like Cody.
I'd have been there in spirit.
I loved it. So had a real nice moment. Then Sammy Guevara interrupted, and then out came Chris Jericho, the AEW World Champion, and laid an absolute beatdown on Cody Rhodes.
So I enjoyed that part of it because I'm all for a good beatdown.
I love a good beatdown.
I love a good beatdown. It's got to be good. I mean, I know we're not going to talk much about Monday Night Raw, but it's kind of like the Brock Lesnar beatdown of Eddie Guerrero's son and Rey Mysterio, who's kind of adopted him now.
The whole Mysterio family.
Yeah, but we all know that's really Eddie's son. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of you don't. Go back and rewatch some old film and you'll get it.
Dominic's too big to be Ray's son.
Absolutely.
Ain't no way he come from
he's
here.
Eddie's.
Ain't no way.
He's Eddie's. Or Mark Henry's, one of the two.
Mark Henry. So Jericho come out, laid a beating on Cody, and at that moment, I flipped the channels. And we're going to talk about NXT here in a minute. But I flipped the channel, and this is where I saw my main man, Matt Riddle, and Adam Cole lighting my TV screen on fire.
Man.
We're going to talk about that match in a minute. But when I flipped over there, them jokers were going off, and I loved it.
When you look at it, like I said, we're going to get there. That opening segment for both NXT and AEW was fire, man. I mean, they opened it up both ways with an incredible match. Man, it's hard. If you had to go Wednesday Night Wars on that one segment, man, that's tough because they were both so intense.
If we're just comparing the two, I think the NXT match was better. But when you put in the Jericho beatdown, Tony Schiavone,
the opening,
the whole deal,
the crowd into it.
Yes, Cody's entrance, man, it was all good.
Yeah.
It was all good.
No complaints from me.
I did like when Jericho was leaving, Tony Schiavone was standing the aisleway. He gave Schiavone a little push.
Him a shove.
I love it.
Should have gave him the Judas effect on the way out.
Oh, if he would have hit Tony with that elbow. Oh, Lord. Next up, we had MJF versus Brandon Cutler. Here's what I noticed. The match wasn't really nothing to write home about. It was your standard match.
Yeah.
MJF got the win. But here's what I liked about MJF. When he first come out, there were some cheers in the crowd. You heard some people cheering.
Yep.
He had a microphone. He shut them fools down.
Quickly.
Within 3 minutes of him coming out, he had the whole crowd, 14,000 people, chanting and calling him an a-hole.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Here's what somebody tweeted, and it was a great tweet. I wish I could remember who does. I would love to see The Miz on a mic and MJF on a mic just to see, because, I mean, both of those guys are legit at bringing some heat on the microphone. And then they're both great in the ring. And so, man, I thought, but MJF is incredible. He got the crowd. I mean, he's going to be the ultimate heel in AEW. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with this guy.
And that Joker's like 23 years old.
Yeah, he's young.
He's young. He doesn't play Dungeons & Dragons. In case you haven't heard, he is not a Dungeons & Dragons fan. But MJF's going to be good. Followed that up, we had Adam Page and Pac, the former Adrian Neville from NXT and WWE. I got to say this. These two had a match. They were supposed to have a match at Double or Nothing a couple of months ago.
Yep.
Something happened with wrestling politics or visa, passport, whatever happened.
Right.
They ended up having a match over in England. I've got to say this. I have not seen Neville or Pac wrestle since he left WWE.
He's good.
Man, listen, this Joker, he looks like a bad guy.
He does.
Got the hair in his face, got the big black beard.
So you didn't see the Pac Omega match?
No, I did not. No.
Man, let me go and tell you. Go back and watch it. If you can find it, that may be one of the most intense
I believe it.
And great matches of this year. It was incredible.
I believe it. Pac plays the part.
Oh, absolutely.
I had read stories years ago of when he got called up from NXT to the main roster in WWE. Remember he come out, had on a cape?
Yep.
Remember that? I had heard or I had read that was Vince's image or Vince's vision of Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
So this Joker has gone from Mighty Mouse to being one of the best killers in the game. I think.
Yeah.
He's good.
I mean, the dude is legit. I mean, he brings heat when he comes to the arena.
He's come a long way from Mighty Mouse. Now, listen, NXT, he was good. He was NXT champion. He was good in
Cruiserweight champion in WWE.
He was 205 champion. He was good on Raw, all that stuff. But it seems to me he looks good. That Joker's thick as a freaking house.
Right.
He was a good match. I thought this was the best match of the night on the show, on the AEW show. This was the best match of the night. Pac gets the win. Did you see who the referee was?
No, I didn't.
Earl Hebner.
Oh, no, I did. I did see that. You're correct.
Yes.
I remember seeing him for a match. I wasn't sure which one.
Yes, it was that match. The longtime WWE referee, worked in TNA, worked in NWA back in the day.
Yeah.
He was in like 6 or 7, maybe 8 or 9 straight WrestleMania main events. Good referees. Good to see him there. However, he turned his back. Pac got a low blow in on Adam Page and got the win following the low blow. So Pac has now beaten Kenny Omega and Adam Page.
And Adam Page was in the battle with Chris Jericho to see who would win the first ever AEW. So, I mean, Pac has got some wins under his belt. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him going forward.
Yeah, he's got to be, after whatever happens with Cody and Jericho, we'll see next month.
He's got to be up there for a title shot.
Yeah, Pac's got to be one of the ones next in line. Next up, we had the crowning of the first ever women's champion in AEW. Did you see the belt? See the women's belt?
Yeah.
I heard some chatter on Twitter. People hating on the belt.
Look, it's a belt.
Said it looks little. It looks like a plastic piece of a belt.
Now, granted, it was a little small. I mean, compared to what the women's belt is in WWE.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I could see that argument. But, I mean, dude, it's right now for me when it comes to belts, when it comes to what AEW is trying to do, it's trial and error. You're never going to know until you put the product out there whether it's going to be good or bad. The belt's bad, they'll change it up.
Don't take this the wrong way. If Nyla Rose would have won the belt, it would look a lot smaller than it does on Rio. That's all.
I agree with that. It would look like she was wearing a belt buckle from the Cowboy Western store down here.
A big old belt buckle, yes. So Rio and Nyla Rose was in the first ever women's championship match. Rio got this surprising win.
I was really shocked.
Nyla outweighs her probably, 100 pounds or more.
Easily.
But she got the win. There was one big spot where Rose threw some chairs at the end of the ramp. Rio was laying on the chairs.
Right.
She did a cannonball deal off the apron. Luckily, can we all take a minute and thank God that Rio moved? Because if not, we would have saw a death on the very first episode of AEW.
I was really shocked because, AEW is trying to make a splash, and I was really shocked. I thought they were going to come out with Nyla winning, being the first open transgender in wrestling.
Yep.
And I thought they would have celebrated that with the win last night, but they didn't. So I was shocked that, she didn't win that match.
Yep. After the match, she come back in, was beating the devil out of Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
And then Kenny Omega, beating the devil out of Rio. Then Kenny Omega come down, saved the day. And that led to the main event of AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite, which is Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Jericho, Santez, and Ortiz, the former LAX from TNA. You cannot call them LAX no more. We'll have to pay TNA some money, so do not call them LAX.
Yeah.
Got it?
Got it. LX.
Tito and Ortiz.
Okay.
How about that?
Sonny and Cher.
No, not Tito. Santana and Ortiz. My bad.
Sonny and Cher.
We had listen, this match was crazy.
Great match.
About 3 minutes into the match, I would say Kenny Omega was getting him set up for his Terminator move. He was going to do his dive outside. And the AEW did a good job with this, the whole show. With their camera angles and not seeing the run-ins. You could tell when it was zoomed in on Kenny, the crowd was going crazy. It was the same way with Jericho when he ran in on Cody Rhodes. They were zoomed in on Cody and Sammy Guevara. The crowd was going crazy. You knew something was happening. Jericho runs into the frame. It was the same way here. They were zoomed in on Kenny. The crowd was going crazy. And then you see the returning Jon Moxley pop up behind Kenny, and what a great shot that was. Kenny was looking straight ahead, and Moxley looking behind him, just waiting on him to turn around. And they went on to have an absolute beaten
slugfest
all through the Coliseum there in Washington.
And finally got the DDT on the glass table.
Yes.
So Moxley, to me, took more of the beating of that because your back hit it more than anything.
Yeah.
But, man, that was great. That's a great way to bring Moxley back into the frame.
I'll say this. I read some stuff online. Some people upset about them going through the glass table, and the glass is probably gimmicked. It may not be gimmicked. I'm gonna tell you, I don't give a rip.
No.
You still went through a glass table.
Look, man.
Do you remember Kurt Angle trying to throw Shane McMahon through that glass panel at King of the Ring, and he didn't go through, and that glass was gimmicked.
And here's the thing. Go back to the barber shop.
Yeah.
One of the greatest segments of somebody going through glass.
Marty Jannetty in 92.
Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, super
Your
kick.
man.
Yeah, you went through the glass. And so, I mean, those things, I don't care if it's gimmicked or not, those things make you remember that moment in time. When you say Jon Moxley came back to AEW, the first thing people are going to say, man, he put him through that glass table. Gimmicked or not.
You speak of the barbershop. I'll tell you what I remember about that. Shawn Michaels super kicked him, then threw Jannetty through the glass.
Yep.
You remember what Bobby the Brain Heenan said? I'll never forget it.
What was it?
He said, I cannot believe Marty Jannetty just jumped through that glass.
Yes, he did.
I could not believe it.
And it's stuff like that. Remember when Jimmy Snuka busted the coconuts? Piper.
Piper, yeah.
Little stuff like that.
Yeah.
You remember those episodes because of, if you want to say, the gimmick props or whatever, because, man, it's just something that's there. It catches you visually, and you love it.
Before we move on, let me say this, too. Cody, Kenny, Young Bucks, Tony Khan, any of you guys with AEW that may be listening, when you come to Charlotte in a couple of weeks, if you need people to fill that VIP section, I know two guys.
Here I am.
I know two guys. That's all I'm saying.
And we'd be great. If you need us on commentating, let us know. If you need us in the backstage doing interviews, let us know. If you need us to run your podcast, let us know.
We're available. That's all we're saying. Jericho ends up getting the win. Kenny Omega was obviously knocked out after that beatdown.
Right.
It was 3-on-2. Jericho ended up getting the win over one of the Young Bucks with his Judas Effect elbow. And then after that, the beatdown continued.
Melee.
The beatdown continued. The three guys, Santana, Ortiz, and Jericho, were beating down the Young Bucks. Cody comes back out, lays a beating on Jericho. Dustin comes out to help out Dustin Rhodes. And then we had the debut of Jack Hager, the former Jack Swagger in WWE, his debut on AEW. And he come out. Listen, here's the deal. Here's how I feel about this.
Let's hear it.
I'm
going to give you mine.
Jack Swagger was okay. He was good in WWE.
Right.
He's going to be fine in AEW, right?
Yep.
However, if he comes out and they form this little group that look like they're forming Santana, Ortiz, Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and if Jack Hager, if he is the kind of like the Diesel with Shawn Michaels, if he's kind of the bodyguard, the heavy, he has a match from time to time, I'm all for it. Yeah. I don't want to see Jack Swagger be pushed as a top superstar.
We the people.
Yes, but if he is just a part of the group, if he's the monster in the group, right, I'm fine with it.
I'm going to tell you, AEW had me so hyped that even though I knew it was Jack Swagger, even though I remember We the People,
right,
even though I remember the mediocre career in WWE, the mediocre career in Impact, when he came out and laid the beating, I got really pumped up.
Yeah.
I was like, dang right, Jake Hager, you do your thing, man. Because, I mean, to me, it was very exciting. They planned these people coming in at great spots.
Yep.
And so, man, I was hyped about this guy. And then I sat down later on and thought about it. I said, I really did get hyped for that guy.
That's Jack Swagger.
I said, man, that's how good the show was tonight.
Jack Swagger, by the way, is the, I think, I could be wrong, but I think, is the last Lucha Underground champion. He won the championship on the last episode of Lucha Underground. It looks like they're not coming back. So he may go down in history as the last ever, the final Lucha Underground
He ain't no Luchasaurus.
Heavyweight.
I was disappointed he wasn't on the show.
He'll be there because they're starting the tag team tournament next week.
Yeah.
Him and Jungle Boy.
Let me tell you before we go to NXT what I don't like about that tournament. Did you notice the brackets? Who's on the same side?
The Young Bucks and
the Lucha Brothers are on the same side of the bracket. So you know it's probably not going to be the Lucha Brothers that win the very first tag team, which I'm highly disappointed in because those brothers are good. They're so good. And so I was a little disappointed when I saw that. They came out for a little bit of an interview. And so, but I am a Lucha Brothers guy. And so they got to do something big with these guys.
I think the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, I think they could win the first tag team championship.
That'd be good, man. Because, I mean, they're hot right now. You know, what is it? The Jurassic Express is what they call them.
Yep.
So, I mean, that could be hot. I like it.
I think they could win that tournament, and then you have the Lucha Brothers go try to chase the championship. You got the Young Bucks trying to chase the championship. But I think they could win that first ever the AEW Tag Team Tournament. So that was your first, episode 1 of AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, thumbs up.
I agree.
Thumbs up, big time.
Great 2 hours. It wasn't overloaded with matches. There was enough matches. I did think they probably could have done a better job, or they probably will in the future, with with more vignettes talking about who the guys are, who the girls are.
Eventually, they got to build some rivalries through those. So
well, you had Moxley and Omega continue theirs. You got Cody and Jericho start theirs. All the tag team boys, the SCU come out, did an interview.
Right.
Lucha Bros come out, interrupted.
Private Party.
You got them in there. Private Party was there with Angelico and Jack Evans talking to Silent Bob and whatever the other guy's name is. Jay, I think Jay and Silent Bob. Yes. So I think the tag team division in AEW
is stout.
Is heads much higher over Raw, SmackDown, ROH, NXT, over all of them.
I mean, it's stout, man.
Yeah,
it's really
all their
good.
tag teams are top notch. We flip from there over to USA for the 3rd episode of Live NXT, and this was like a takeover special. They had championships galore, 2 hours of live wrestling on USA, kicked off by the NXT Championship match between Matt Riddle, my main man, which I texted you last night. I said he is quickly becoming, if not my favorite professional wrestler today. I love Matt Riddle. Taking on Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. Did you notice you may not have saw the very start of the show because we were flipping back and forth or whatever.
Man, I was everywhere.
Yeah. Before Matt Riddle come out, his music was playing. Before he come out, him and William Regal was in the back. He gave William Regal a fist bump, and then he come down to the ring. I think that's important, and here's why. Matt Riddle, his reputation is of being like he doesn't take it serious.
Yeah.
Right. He's just out there having a good time.
Right.
To do that, to show that little scene with Regal shows like, man, he's in a championship match. He's taking it real. This is going to be a good match. So Riddle comes out. Adam Cole comes out. They have a killer match. This may have been the best match of the night as far as from both shows.
Both shows.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, both shows. For me, this may have been the best match of the night. Adam Cole gets the win in a crazy, crazy match. There were Panama Sunrises up and down. There were bro missions up and down. There was a floating bro attempt and then a floating bro moonsault by Matt Riddle. And Adam Cole retains his NXT championship from Matt Riddle.
And then that sets up.
And then this may be the biggest story coming out of NXT. Maybe.
I don't know. The ending is right there with
they're they're
I don't know if you want to go there yet.
Not yet. What's my man's name?
Finn Balor.
Adam Cole was in the ring celebrating. Finn Balor's music plays. He comes down.
Place goes, wow.
Yeah, standing in the ring, grabs the microphone, looks at Matt Riddle, and says these words. As of right now, Finn Balor is in NXT.
I love it.
And I think there's probably not a happier person in professional wrestling than Finn Balor.
Oh, I agree.
To get away from Raw and SmackDown. And he was pushed. He was the first ever Universal Champion. And he did great. He
never lost his belt.
Got hurt, had to give it up. And he's won the Intercontinental Championship since then. The Demon, Finn Balor, he's done some good stuff. Whatever.
They just don't know how to use him in Raw.
I think he is happy. I think he would be happy.
He's a much better fit in NXT than he is in Raw or SmackDown.
Yes.
So I agree. I think he is just happy as he could be to be there. I see in the very near future, with the third person we'll talk about later, a triple threat match for the NXT belt.
Maybe so.
I'm calling it. Y'all heard it here first. Main Event Pod. You heard it here.
You know how your predictions go.
They're incredible.
Flair was supposed to be on AEW last night, by the way.
I didn't say last night. I said in the near future. There's still time.
All right,
after he gets paid for that Saudi Arabia deal.
After the championship match, we had your boy, the Velveteen Dream, come out for a promo challenging Roderick Strong for the North American Championship. I thought they were going to have a match last night, but I guess I missed her. Or they
Velveteen come out with his harem of women. As only he can.
Yeah, he did.
And just stole the show, baby. He is so good on the mic, man. So good.
He had some stumbles last night, but listen, we do public speaking in our jobs. A stumble while you're speaking is going to happen, right?
Yeah, so especially live.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fine.
It's not like we get 4 or 5 takes to do this like for us here.
Yeah.
People think we may sit here all day. Dude, we go here 35 minutes, we're done. This is one take only. That's how good we are.
Yeah, there is no editing and cutting and pasting and everything going on here, my man. What you hear is what you get.
Yeah.
All right, we had Shayna Baszler and Candice LeRae for the NXT Women's Championship. I'm becoming a Candice LeRae fan.
I thought she was going to win last night.
I thought she was too. I mentioned that last week. I predicted she would win, and then Shayna would get drafted to Raw or SmackDown. However, as predictions go on this show, we were wrong.
Well, I mean, we can't get everything right.
That's true.
I mean, we're right about a lot. We missed 1 or 2 here or there.
That's true. So Shayna wins with a Kirifuda clutch, her little choke move, go to sleep move that she does. Gets the win over Candice LeRae in the NXT Women's Championship match. And the main event of NXT was for the Tag Team Championship, the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish against the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. This match was a long match, I thought. It was good, though.
Yeah.
Real good match. I saw some people online saying this was the best match of the night. It was good.
It wasn't as good as Riddle.
I don't think so
no,
either.
I mean, it was good. I think the Street Profits lose because they're getting drafted up.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to stay down in NXT because of all the little segments you see on Raw each week. So I think they're heading out the door.
Yeah. So Roderick Strong does a little interference, not a lot, but a little bit. And then Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish hit the high-low action and get the win to retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. Thumbs up, thumbs down for NXT.
Oh, thumbs up. I thought both shows were great, man. Like we said at the beginning, we were the winner last night.
Yeah.
I tell you, I mean, here's how I'm going home today and during Thursday Night Football. You know what I'm going to be watching during timeouts, halftime? NXT and AEW, because I know I missed some stuff.
Just see what you missed.
Exactly. That's how good of a show it was.
I understand. All right, we got coming up this weekend, Hell in a Cell, coming up Sunday night live on the WWE Network.
$9.99.
$9.99 will get you. If you sign up as a new subscriber, you get it for free. I don't know how I feel about that. I've been a subscriber for years, and I don't get nothing for free.
Get nothing.
Anyway, so we're going to run through a couple of the matches here. We got predictions, my friend.
Oh, we got them.
We got predictions. First up, let's start with Bayley against Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Who you got, Patterson?
Oh, let me go with...
We picked Charlotte to win at the last pay-per-view, Clash of Champions. We were wrong.
Oh.
Believe it or not.
Who are you picking?
Go ahead, I asked you.
Who are you picking?
Bayley.
You going with Bayley?
Yeah, they're going to continue the Bayley-Sasha deal.
I agree. I'm going with Bayley. As much as I don't want to, I'm going with Bayley too.
I hope I'm wrong.
Oh man,
I'm predicting Bayley, hoping that I'm wrong.
We hope we jinx her.
Yes. Next up, we have Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan against Rowan and Harper. We said last week.
We know what's going to happen.
I'm not so sure now.
It's going to happen
because of the last SmackDown. We had Rowan again laying a beating on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they can turn this whole deal after all these beatings.
They can. It's going to happen.
We'll see.
It's going to happen.
So you got...
it's like the Mega Powers broke up.
Yes.
All right.
You got a no contest, Daniel Bryan turning on Roman Reigns Sunday night.
Beating the fire out of Roman Reigns.
I got Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan winning and this moving on to something else.
Not happening.
All right, we got our first Hell in a Cell match with Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship.
Here's what I read.
Okay.
This is crazy. But I actually like this idea.
Who's the source?
It was one of these old school wrestling
Okay.
little sources online.
Okay.
The Fiend is going to cost Becky Lynch the match to get at Seth Rollins before their match starts. And so Sasha's going to win with outside interference from The Fiend is what somebody's predicting. I don't know if that's true or not, but I like the setup. I will give you that. But I have Sasha Banks winning anyways.
I don't think you can bring the Fiend out before their match. I think it kind of takes away from his entrance for their match.
Yeah, and I see that.
I mean, that may be like a little technical type deal. Somebody may not be like, who cares? He's still out there, right? But to me, it just kind of takes away a little bit. Give me Becky Lynch.
Oh, I hear you. The man.
Give me Becky Lynch. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I'll take Becky Lynch over Sasha Banks in the Hell in a Cell for the Raw
I'll take Sasha Banks all day
Women's
long.
Championship.
Ain't no lie about it.
All right, then we got the main event of the day, the aforementioned The Fiend and Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. 2 out of the past 3 weeks, Seth Rollins has looked like a little punk, cowarding into the corner. This past Monday night, the show went off the air with him getting the mandible claw outside the ring. So maybe he had reason to look
now
like a
they
little
had a
punk.
dark match, too. Did you read about that?
No, I hadn't seen that.
They had a dark match for the title.
Okay.
And the dark match went, Seth Rollins gave him, what do they call it now, the curb stomp?
Yes.
He gave him like 4 of them.
Uh-huh.
And then the lights went out, and when the lights come back on, the Fiend had disappeared and vanished out of thin air. And so I don't know what they're trying to set up with all that.
He didn't get pinned.
No, he never got pinned.
Got it.
And so I really want somehow the Fiend to win, but Seth Rollins to keep the belt, if that makes sense. I still believe that Bray Wyatt doesn't need the belt to be where he is.
Bray Wyatt cannot lose.
No, he can't lose.
He cannot be pinned. He cannot give up.
No. And then if you get him the belt, I mean, the next one is Survivor Series where they usually go Raw versus SmackDown.
Usually.
So you would have Brock versus The Fiend. Who are you going to lose in that match if that happens?
I agree.
So I'm hoping somehow The Fiend just beats him down terribly and vanishes, and somehow Seth Rollins retains the belt.
There's a couple things in play here. One being what you said. Got Kofi and Brock coming up on Friday night, Survivor Series in November. They usually do a champion versus champion non-title match. They don't have to, but they usually do.
Right.
So that's got to be in play. I really don't care nothing about seeing another Brock-Seth match. I don't care nothing about seeing a Fiend Kofi Kingston match.
Yeah. I'm not big for a Fiend Brock Lesnar match. I'm really not.
I am if the Fiend wins.
Oh, now yeah, but it's just there's such different styles there, and I know there's a lot of different styles with the Fiend and everybody else right now. But I mean, usually Brock's matches either goes he dominates you and pins you, or he dominates you, plays with you, and then somehow you squeak an upset. And so I don't see them letting Brock dominate the Fiend in any way possible.
I agree,
and I don't see Brock letting that happen. Well, I don't know. He let Goldberg do it, so I could be wrong.
Let me put this out there. Last week, or 2 Monday nights ago, they were in Tennessee. Kane come back. He got the mandible claw. Could that be a setup for The Undertaker?
Because he attacked his brother.
To interrupt the championship match Sunday night and cause Seth Rollins to retain the championship.
I like it.
And that will get the Fiend out of the match without losing, but not have the championship.
And he still looks strong.
Yes.
I like that.
And set up an Undertaker-Fiend match.
Good call.
Possibility.
You heard it here first.
With all that said, give me the Fiend to win the championship.
Yeah, I'm going with the Fiend too. As much as we don't want him to, he's walking out with the belt.
WWE, listen, we're all assuming Brock's going to win tomorrow night against Kofi Kingston.
Right.
At Survivor Series, you do not have to have champion versus champion. That's all I'm saying.
No, not at all.
That's all I'm saying. All right, speaking of Hell in a Cell, we've been counting down the top 3 matches in Hell in a Cell history. Number 3 was Mick Foley, it was Mick Foley and Triple H. Number 2 was
Undertaker, Mick Foley.
Undertaker, Mankind when he got thrown off the top of the cage. We believe, as voted on by us, the number 1 Hell in a Cell, the best Hell in a Cell match in the history of Hell in a Cell matches was, excuse me, I just about died here on live radio, was the first ever Hell in a Cell match from the Bad Blood pay-per-view in 1997. You had Shawn Michaels against The Undertaker at Bad Blood 97, the very first Hell in a Cell match.
I like it.
You had Shawn climbing halfway up the side of the cage, getting thrown off through the table. Both men were bleeding. Shawn ends up getting the win, but not before the debut of the aforementioned Kane, The Undertaker's brother. I believe this is one of the best debuts in WWE history. This is the best way to bring a character in. He looked like a friggin' monster.
Yes, he did.
He performed like a monster. He was bigger than The Undertaker. His shoulders, his arms, his chest, standing beside The Undertaker. He was just a bigger man than The Undertaker. And he come in and cost The Undertaker the match. And Shawn Michaels got the win in what we believe to be the best Hell in a Cell match in WWE history. By the way, there is a really good documentary on the network about this match and all the things leading up to it, where The Undertaker makes a statement that he hated Shawn Michaels so bad at this time that if Shawn Michaels was on fire, he wouldn't piss on him.
My man, I love it.
He wouldn't piss on him.
Yes, good
All
stuff.
right. We got SmackDown coming up tomorrow night. Of course, we got Brock and Kofi. We both think Brock's winning unless there's a big swerve in there.
There's no swerve.
We'll see. We'll see.
There's no swerve.
Brock
at all.
looked tough Monday night, throwing
Yes, he
around
did.
Ray and Dominic. That's for sure.
Yes, he did.
We got Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens in a loser leaves town ladder match.
Kevin
Who
Owens
you picking?
wins.
You think so?
Unless they're going to send him to NXT.
Maybe
There's
so.
been talks about it.
Maybe so. Well, Finn Balor showed up
Yeah.
on NXT. And
Got to
then
beef up that roster for TV, too.
we got appearances by The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I hope they do something together in the ring. I hope they talk something. There's not many more times you're going to get a chance to see The Rock and Stone Cold together. I know you're making a face because your boy Straight Edge called you out, and The Rock's not going to be on there every week. Stone Cold's not going to be on there every week. Brock Lesnar's not going to be on there every week. But I want to see them do something together.
I do, too. But it just proves my point. Like, even with Raw, I told you before we started this, what was the highest rated segment of Raw?
Hogan and Flair.
Hogan and Flair. All right, and now you got to bring back Stone. You can't continue to do this week after week for your ratings. You've got to come up with some characters. You got to come up with some better storylines, or it's going to be the same old story. We got to bring Flair back. We got to bring Hogan back. We got to bring The Rock back. We got to bring Stone Cold back. We got to bring cross-eyed Shawn Michaels back.
Easy.
I mean, it's just one after the other. Let the young guys, and I think that's why I like AEW. I don't know everybody there, but these guys are getting a chance to produce on the major stage, and, man, they're doing it. They're doing work, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, I think AEW it may seem like they're coming from a deficit, but I think they got a leg up because they got new people that we don't know.
Right.
Right? We got a chance to see somebody we've never seen before.
Exactly.
There's people that have never seen Pentagon wrestle before.
Man.
And they're in for a show when they see him wrestle.
Well, we was talking to Charles over at the church today, and he said, I've never seen the Lucha Brothers wrestle.
Yeah.
I said, dude, you have no idea
Yeah.
what you're missing. Because they, by far, I know everybody says the Young Bucks are the best tag team.
Yep.
No, they are not. The Lucha Brothers are the best tag team in the world today.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, you have a...
All right, here we go.
Listen, last week on the show, we did a segment we called Main Event, Mid-Card, Dark Match, where I gave Jam 3 wrestlers. He had to pick one of them to be in the main event, one to be in the mid-card match, and one to be on the dark match. Jam's got 3 wrestlers for me today,
Yeah.
and I am going to pick them right now.
Now, you gave me 3 great names last week.
Yep.
You gave me AJ Styles.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
You gave me Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep.
And you gave me
Daniel Bryan. Yep.
All right, I've given you 3 mid-carders.
Okay.
Because if we keep doing main event stars, we're going to be...
We're going to run out.
Yeah. So, your 3.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Big Boss Man.
I love the
Ray Traylor.
Yep.
The Repo Man.
Okay.
And Coco Beware.
That's easy.
Let's hear it.
That's easy. Big Boss Man's in the main event.
Okay.
He's the biggest star out of those 3. He had a main event run with Hogan in '89. Big Boss Man, main
Okay.
event. Mid-card match, give me mid-card match, give me Repo
Come on, man. You going to put the Repo Man above Coco Beware
Here's why.
and his bird?
You remember the bird's name?
Nope.
Don't talk to me unless you remember
What
the
was
bird's
his name?
Frankie.
Frankie.
Don't talk to me if
Can
you don't
do the
remember his name.
dance?
Yeah, I can do the dance.
All right, let's see it.
We'll put a video on Twitter tomorrow, Friday,
Who can do the best Frankie?
right before SmackDown Live.
Yeah.
Me and you, we'll let the people vote who does the best Frankie.
Yeah, let's
who does
do it.
the best dance. Okay, anyway. Give me the Repo Man as the mid-card match because you can do some type of angle, some type of storyline like WWE did in 93 where he stole the Macho Man's hat, and so they had a little program
He
together.
can steal Frankie.
You could do – well, you can't put them both in the mid-card match. One of them's got to be in the dark match.
And that's where the Repo Man ought to be, in the
Give
dark.
me
That's
Coco.
where all the repos happen, in the dark.
Give me Coco in the
Man.
dark. So, Big Boss Man main event, Repo Man mid card, and Coco Beware in the dark match. All right, everybody. We will be back next week, next Thursday. The WWE draft starts on Friday night. Next week on SmackDown, we're doing a draft here live for you next Thursday. We're going to do 10 rounds. We're both picking 10 people. We have 20 picks. We'll flip a coin, see who goes first, and we'll see who builds the best roster out of 20 wrestlers.
And it's just out of those three, right? NXT, SmackDown, and Raw.
Yep. We'll print out a list of the roster for WWE, and we'll pick. Y'all pick 10, you pick 10, and we'll see who gets the best roster out of the 10. So that's next week right here on the Main Event Wrestling Podcast, a part of the Press Play Podcast. Next
Word. Hey, good win for the Browns. About time y'all done something up there.
Overrated. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week. This is Michael and Jam Patterson.
Peace.
The Main Event Wrestling Podcast.